Hello.
Hi, may I get the mark, please, for the...
Hi. Is this Mr. Sizemore?
It's Tom Sizemore, yeah.
Hi. May I call you Tom?
Yeah, sure thing.
Oh, great. It's fantastic to be able to talk to you. Thank you so much for agreeing to allow me to interview you with regard to your new film. I have to.
My pleasure.
Oh, well, I wanted to tell you that um, I'm a big fan of your work. I mean, you've done so many great films. I mean, practically every major film in the 1990s, especially, and the early 2000s, you're in all of them. You know what I mean? The first, I know that you started out. According to what I read, you started out with Oliver Stone and Born on the Fourth of July, and I was like very surprised because I don't remember you in that film, but I haven't seen it in like 20 or 30 years. But I
Oh,
certainly.
it's a smallish part.
Oh,
It's when Cruz goes to in Mexico to, the paraplegics are trying to do physical therapy.
oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, obviously, I definitely remember you from the other work that I know you were in of Mr. Stone's, and it was also Tarantino related, Natural Born Killers, and that was like a film unlike any other for its time. I mean, I got to think that like between not only the hard work that you must have had as an actor, and working with the other actors, and I think you guys actually worked within a real prison, at least for part of it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, we shot in South Statesville. It was in Marion, Illinois. It was the the harshest prison in Illinois. It's where the death row inmates were, and everyone there basically was doing life without parole.
Wow.
We shot the second half of the movie there.
Wow, that must have been like surreal for to say the least. And I just want to say, may he rest in peace. But the chemistry you had with Chris Penn in True Romance, because that's the movie that I remember. Like, remember you like the first time where like I recognized you oh, this guy's great. You know what I mean? Like you what's a great thing about you as an actor and a lot of the characters you've played is you kind of come off like somebody's cooler older cousin. You know what I mean? Like you have great charisma, and
Oh, thank you.
you're very welcome. It's very, and in that particular movie, some of the interactions they were just they were great. You know what I mean? Especially with where like your character was talking about the Christian Slater character, and he's like, "Oh wait, I like this guy." You know what I mean? It was just you made that movie. You and Chris Penn both made that movie, but you're like that was the first movie I recall. And well, I mean, after that, you're in everything. I mean, and I mean, Heat. Heat is like a novel to me. Like when watching
It was a
Heat.
great movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like a novel for. It's like Michael Mann wrote a novel, but he wrote it with film instead of pen and paper. It was just like an epic movie. It's
It was fantastic. All the characters, told so many different stories
yeah,
in such a
yeah.
short amount of time.
That's what I mean, and it was like I felt like a novel. It felt like a novel. Like it was really done well, and your character, like, and the fact that all you guys are like family guys, like you're not, it shows you the other side of like that just because you guys rob banks doesn't mean that you're not human beings or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? And I mean, and not everybody has the same. I mean, it was a fantastic movie. And then of course, just if you don't mind me mentioning it really quick, another film of yours that I really enjoyed was Strange Days. Just because I'm a sci-fi fan, but that was a great flick. And again, like you have this great delivery. Like when you say that line, it's not whether or not you're paranoid. It's whether it's not a question if you're paranoid. It's a question of how paranoid are you or something like that. You say at one point.
It's not a question if you're paranoid. It's a question if you're paranoid enough.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm sorry that I don't have it as memorable. I can't pull it out of my head like the way you can. But yeah, just fantastic work. So I just wanted to mention that to you. I know we're not here to talk about retrospective in terms of, everything else. But, oh, and one last thing. You were great. I was so happy to see you in Twin Peaks: The Return, or a limited event series, as they call it, not on the video.
Yeah.
That must have, that was...
That was a lot of fun too.
Oh, I bet, because, I don't know Mr. Lynch personally, or anything like that. I've never talked to him in my life or anything, but he strikes me from like that he must be like a really great person for an actor to work with. You know what I mean? At least...
He's a really good guy. He really is.
Yeah.
Intelligent, open. He's a unique person.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll talk about your film, and I really do appreciate you, taking a little trip down memory lane, just because I wanted to mention some of these great movies, that you have done, and the fact that it's great to see you back, and, I've heard that this movie Central Park Dark is, I've heard two different things about it, that it's kind of like a cross between the Blair Witch Project and Fatal Attraction. But when I read about it, deeper, I was wondering, there's certain things you can't say, obviously, and that we can't include in an interview because it would be spoilers. So I recognize that. But so, if I'm getting to, if there's anything I ask you and you don't want to answer, or you say it's getting too close to spoiler or whatever, just tell me, and it'll be like I never asked you. You know what I mean? I'll just delete it completely. From reading what I read, it sounds to me, it's a very, how can I say this? It's not. I think everybody in their lives has had a period where, I remember when I was a teenager, and you know how it is when you're a teenager, you go out with your friends and you drink when you're underage. I'm just saying, well, a lot of kids do. I grew up in Brooklyn, okay, and still live here. But the bottom line is that sometimes it happens, especially when you're young, and where you can end up For me, it was I was in Park Slope, before Park Slope, if you're familiar with Brooklyn at all, had become a well-to-do area. And I remember I had to walk all the way back to Bay Ridge, which was 3 or 4 miles, because the train went out. And that whole trip walking home was just really surreal, because the train went out. I had no money for car service, etc. And it's that time where you just you feel alone. It's the point when you get back when you finally get back home, all you want to do is kiss your bed and be thankful you made it home. You know what I mean? Right? So.
Yeah, I know New York well. I lived there for years. I moved there in '86. I had a place there till '90 to '99.
Oh.
I lived at Park Slope for a year.
Oh wow! How'd you like it? I guess you liked it enough.
I wanted to be in the village, so.
Okay.
I wanted to be in the city.
Yeah, I don't believe a lot of people. Obviously, I have a friend of mine who's an actor, not nearly as well known as you are, but but I know for a period of time he lived in Manhattan as a work. Before he now he kind of lives in different addresses, he has different home addresses now, but you know how it is. Because you're a successful actor. So, anyway, what I wanted to ask you is, do you describe this horror film as being psychological, or are we kind of are we what we see?
She jumps through a window and she disappears, as if she didn't exist. You're not sure if it's all in his head, and certain things are definitely in his head. I'm not real good at describing it. It's a psychological horror film.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm just gonna. You may or may not have seen these films. Is it sort of like it's not a horror movie, but a film that came to mind was have you ever seen After Hours, directed by Scorsese?
Yeah.
That's kind of.
I've seen that movie. It's been a while, but it's not stylistically like that. But then it's
It's
these rituals that she uses from
well,
beyond the grave. Beyond the grave. I mean, that you're not even sure if the actual event happened.
it's would you say that's kind of like Angel Heart as well? Have you seen Angel Heart with Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro? If you haven't, it's no big deal. It's an older movie.
It's been a while.
All right, no problem. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter because I mean, it's just I can name 20 movies or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you know what I mean. What matters is that film is original unto itself, regardless, and it sounds like it is. So I mean, it takes place all in one night, or does it? Because I saw some photographs. I fortunately I haven't had a chance to screen it personally yet, but I will be, and I will be reviewing it. But so I'm at a little bit at a disadvantage. So I don't mean to, I apologize for that.
A weekend.
A weekend, okay. So your character, you're playing a doctor here, and a lot of times I remember particularly, at least a lot of your roles in the past have been where you're always a man of action who either is a lawman. Not always. I'm just saying a lot of films that you've played, you've played a lawman or a soldier. Because you're in a lot of movies, and well, I guess we could just say somebody who's got it's not that they're morally questionable. It's not like that. It's just kind of like, like I said, like how Strange Days is one type of guy that you played, but that guy is nothing like the character that you played in Heat. You know what I mean? They're two totally different types of people, and yet they both do things that are, questionable. You know what I mean? From a moral standpoint. Not that these are moral films, but you know what I mean. I'm just basically, I wouldn't call them both criminals in the same way because they're two totally different characters and motivations and what they are willing to do. But at any rate, what I wanted to say is that I saw that you're a doctor here, and is this like the first time you've played like a medical doctor and when you do play it, is it something you just go into the script and you kind of like when you go into becoming the character, or did you? I mean, I don't know if you research what it would be like.
They don't spend a lot of time on Ed in his profession.
Oh, okay.
He's an upper middle class a doctor who steps outside of his marriage and makes some morally questionable decisions with his life, and it devolves into a nightmare.
So, it sounds to me from what I was reading that at least from what the director's notes were, that I'm not sure if he actually did some research into the history of Central Park or not, but Central Park is a character unto itself, I guess, in this film. Would I be correct?
Yeah. And they moved some people that were there.
I see, like hundreds of years.
Authorities did. They pushed them out to make the park work.
I got you.
And they lived there, and it was in the 1800s, and the civil, knows all about it, but the park it becomes a menacing
force. So is it kind of like, in that respect, like, is it sort of like then you enter the park and then you can't find your way out, kind of, even though you know your way out, like it's sort of like you get lost and you know what I mean?
No, when it gets dark there, the dead exact their revenge.
I got you. So like whether it's he encounters. So now, would you say that is this your character seeing the dead, or is it kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say. Like, there's movies.
It's just one girl. It's just one woman.
It's just one girl. That's what I was gonna say. Like, because when you say the dead, I think to myself, is he like witnessing, all sorts of magic things?
No, he's trying to find this girl he had an affair with. And she's disappeared. Mm-hmm. She jumps out the window, but she's not at the bottom. She's not on the sidewalk.
Yeah, yeah. And but did anybody so that means it's kind of like it like do other people know her? You know what I mean? Like is he not even sure like the you know what I mean like the girl jumps out your window, somebody may have seen her walk into the building with you or somebody may have
Never goes
recognized.
into any of that.
I'm sorry?
It never goes into any of that.
Okay,
It's all in
okay.
his head.
It's all in his head. I see.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you like in terms of the you know of playing that type of film because it's definitely a genre film. Do you like playing like I mean because you know I mean you have done like films like The Relic where if I remember correctly you know which is a monster movie you know, um, but this sounds to me like it's not as clear and dry. But I wanted to ask you, like, do you? Oh, and also you were also in the I can't remember the name of it, but the Lawrence Kasdan, the Dreamcatcher, and you're in that too, which is definitely. So what I was gonna say is that when like do you personally like working within that genre, or you know, like or is it like you know some people like you don't. Some people can do anything, and they don't mind as long as it's a good script or an opportunity or whatnot. I mean, even Twin Peaks in itself has horrific elements in it or just supernatural elements in it that David Lynch is never going to explain to anybody, but nevertheless, it's there. You know what I mean? And so I want to ask you, like, how do you feel about? I mean, what was it that drew you to the script?
It was a good story.
A good story.
The relationship between myself and Anna, the girl, it was just a good story, and I enjoyed reading it. And you know, I'm not I don't particularly like one genre or whatever genre. I like good stories. And,
I got you. Well,
and I like Sybil a lot. She's the writer and director and the star.
mm-hmm.
So after talking with her and having read the script, I decided to do it.
Cool. You know, so like how long, like when was this film? Like I guess in the last year or so, and down in down in you know in Midtown.
We shot 2 years ago in Manhattan.
Wow. Was it like during the summer or you know what I mean? Because sometimes
it was when was it? It was the fall.
the fall. Okay, that's a good time because as I say, the summer can be murdered. You know, I mean, especially in the city with the humidity.
It was September.
Oh, September,
October.
so it's still a little hot. But at least in the evening, it's cooler. Especially in a movie where it's primarily, I guess, shot shot at night.
It was not like some of those Manhattan Septembers. It was not overly hot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, or overly cool. I got you. Do you do you th- do, is like do you think that like another again? I'm just going to mention another film you may or may not have seen. But have you ever seen a film called Session 9?
What's it called?
Session 9.
No, I've not seen it.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's okay. It's kind of it's nothing. It's nothing has nothing to do. It's nothing like this movie in terms of the story. The totally different things, but it's another film that has like a dark in it, like a darkness to it that you know there may or may not be supernatural even until the very end. But in this film, would you say that in the end, like, is this a film that's open to interpretation, or you know what I mean? Without going into spoilers, I mean, if one could even answer that question, I mean, you may not be able to, but I mean, it's psychological.
It doesn't answer all the questions. It's not tied up. It's not tied up in a little bow at the end at all.
Okay. So like, yeah, at the end, there's still some like, you know, so I got you some questions to it. So now, you know, would you say like your character's supposed to be at that point like a self-destructive man or just you know because I'm looking at some of the notes the director wrote and I don't want to go into you know anything too personal so you know forgive me for even mentioning but you know because you're way that's the past but so I'm sorry for even mentioning that Mr. Sizemore I apologize to you.
That's all right. He's relapse, and he makes these choices
while he's under the influence.
That come back to haunt him.
I got you. So in that respect, yeah, I got you. Well, do you think that like if anyone when people see this film when it premieres or early next year, is there anything that you hope that that your fans and people who just get the movie and like I'm Generation X, so like I was in my 20s in the 1990s, so to me you're a movie star, and then there's a whole new generation, you know what I mean? There's a generation that came up where they know who you are probably from the same movies that I know you, but now they're probably getting to know you more now as the an older, more seasoned man, as opposed to your earlier films. You know what I mean?
I just want people to enjoy the movie. I still people to be entertained. I still love doing it, and I love movies, and I'm back working again, and
God bless you.
You know.
Yeah. Well,
it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I can only imagine. Have you? I mean, is there anything that you could tell us besides this film about any other movies that you that we can hope to see you in 2021?
I just finished a movie called Narco Sub.
Okay.
It's about the cartels.
Okay.
How they're getting the drugs out of the country, and based on true events in the last several years after El Chapo was apprehended. And I played the head of the DEA, and I just finished it last week.
Oh, wow.
We shot in Houston, and it's called Narco Sub.
Narco Sub,
and
okay.
Myself, Robert Lasardo, and a couple of newcomers, and it's really good. I enjoyed doing it a lot, and I'm doing what else is there in Narco Sub? There's these things that might happen. I don't want to even talk about them.
No, I understand. It's a
weird time because of this.
The
coronavirus.
My friend. I have a friend. I'll just tell you his name. I doubt you. I don't know if you'd know who he is or not, but I have a friend. His name is William DeMeo, and I went to high school with him. That's why So, but he became a working actor. Let's just put it to you that way. Like he's not nearly as well known as you are in terms of everybody knows who Tom Sizemore. Oh, at least in my world, if I say Tom Sizemore, if I was to say, I spoke to Tom Sizemore today, people would be like, really? Wow. You know what I mean? Because you're Tom Sizemore. What can I say? It'd be like, well, no, I don't even want to say, but I was gonna say it'd be like, in some ways you kind of have qualities that, like I said, you have a lot of great charisma, and so you can be somewhat, you're a leading man, and at the same time you're somewhat reminiscent of the type of roles that maybe Mickey Rourke might have done too, like a little bit of that, like a tough guy, and at the same time kind of because of your charisma, a bit of Bruce Willis, or maybe 1980s before, or maybe even 90s, a different. Again, everybody changes, I mean, nobody's ever the same person that they were, 10, 20, whatever, a day ago, you know what I mean? But, and I also understand you've been doing television besides Twin Peaks. Excuse me, besides Twin Peaks, I mean, you've done some other television shows. Is it, besides movies, are you allowed to speak of anything about any television shows at all that you might be in, or?
I haven't done any television lately now.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to do a TV show. I had a great time doing Robbery Homicide Division. Back in 2002. It was a long time ago.
Sure. Okay. Well, I was just asking because I wasn't 100% sure, and but once again, you were a standout in Twin Peaks. And I didn't even know. There's so many people in that TV show, what Lynch did with Twin Peaks is was unprecedented.
Did you watch all those episodes?
Oh yeah, I bought I even bought it on Blu-ray. So I mean, for me, it was just so I mean, your character is interesting because of the the 180 degrees he kind of goes through, and it's so and in a weird way, like your character comes out kind of ahead because it's almost like, first, well, like, okay, your character, like, it's almost like anybody that encounters the Dougie Coop character somehow becomes a better person for it, regardless of whether they were. I mean, except for unless they try to kill him, but your character wasn't really. I don't recall that happening, but it just seems like your character confesses, and then your boss, like, sort of forgives you, and, like, in other words, like, in the end, if I remember correctly, your character actually ends up in a way a better place because he's not living with that threat over his head anymore, and and he's not going to go to jail, and he's I think he still has a job, so I mean those are all
It's hard
pluses.
to kill him, right? I try to remember myself.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
happen.
I mean, the like. If you don't mind my asking, I know I realize, like, when people come to you, like, when they bring you a script, like, does it go to your agent or manager, or,
What's that?
like, when people, like, who want to hire you for a film, is it go through the traditional things of it goes through through your agent and or manager, or do they, or if they know you personally, they ask you and they say, you know what I mean, like,
Well,
it's.
it always eventually has to go through the agent.
I got you. So then what happens then when you get, like, into a role with an established director who's, like, like I never heard of the director who made this movie before, but for all I know, he may have a fantastic resume, and he may be the next, anybody that's he may be the next, I don't know. I don't want to say Quentin Tarantino because that's too generic, but you get the picture. Somebody that sort of comes out of nowhere. But but, like, say when David Lynch, like, if a guy like Dick, is that something where, like, they contact you, or you contacted them, or it just sort of happened from
They go
happenstance?
through you gotta get your representation.
Your representation. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this
You
point.
thinking about making a movie?
No, not myself. No, I was just curious because, like, I mean, I went to film school and all that, but I'm not a director. You know what I mean? And I was just curious only because it's a different world, and, like, Jack Nicholson said that people don't realize that actors talk to as many people in 1 month that a person might talk to in their lifetime, like literally. And so, and I guess from his point of view, I could understand that, but I also wondered to myself, is that true of all actors? I mean, you yourself, because you're an established actor, you know what I mean? People know who you are. So, like, is it sometimes hard to live in a city like New York where, you're bound to be recognized, or do people kind of, I mean, you never hear anything bad about it. I mean, you're not like Alec Baldwin where I mean, nothing bad about Alec Baldwin, but just saying, but, you don't hear about, Tom Sizemore punch somebody in the face or anything like that. So, yeah, obviously you're cool.
I don't believe that. I don't believe
Yeah.
that. I don't. Yeah, I get recognized. It's fine. We do interface with people more than your average person.
Yeah. Okay.
It's part of the deal.
I got you. No, I just wondered, you know what I mean? So, all right. Well, I feel at a bit of a disadvantage only because I want to ask you more questions about this movie, but since I haven't seen it and the information that I have on the film, I feel like, that, I mean, it's hard for me to be able to. I don't want to, like, just talk about your past and it has nothing to do with this movie because I know that I'm not.
It's okay. It's okay. I understand.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you didn't call to speak to Barbara Walters. You know what I mean? I understand that you're promoting a film. You know what I mean? So I don't want to. Like I said before, I don't want to take waste any of your time. With that. So in that respect, I do apologize. But I do want to tell you that I think it's the coolest thing in the world that you're taking the time out to speak to journalists, whether they be independent people like myself, and I imagine the major papers and television stations, etc. And I want to just say that I really hope you have like a fantastic career that's even better than the first half of your career. And
I do. I think I'm going to. I really am looking forward to it.
yeah, and I think you will do. I think I just wanted to thank you very much for your time and consideration, and I wanted to wish you, if you don't mind my saying, well, whatever you celebrate, a happy holiday season, and
Happy holidays to you too. I appreciate it very much. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.